in John chapter 1, John chapter 2, John chapter 3. Could probably even say John chapter 4. We could probably go throughout the Gospel of John actually and see instances where there was something ordinary and that ordinary thing was made extraordinary. In John chapter 1, we see this guy named John the Baptist who he was set apart for a purpose from birth. He didn't have any sort of extraordinary conception like Jesus did. He wasn't divine himself, but he was set apart. This man, this rather mangy individual, would serve a purpose that was not an ordinary purpose. In chapter 2 of John, we see the wedding of Cana, or the wedding at Cana. And Mary, Jesus' mom, comes to Jesus and says, "We're out of wine." And ultimately, Jesus will turn this water into wine. And what's interesting is that these jars that are to be filled with water and that would eventually turn to wine were 6 stone water jars for the Jewish rites of purification. And so these had a purpose, but they were to serve a more extraordinary purpose that Jesus would give it. In John chapter 3, we see this in the discussion maybe between Jesus and Nicodemus. Jesus makes some comments that makes Nicodemus scratch his head. Jesus says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." And Nicodemus is like, "What in the world are you talking about? How can one be born again?" And so Jesus is taking this idea, this natural process, and using it as an image for extraordinary things. What ordinary things in your life and in my life is Christ making extraordinary? What is Christ trying to do with the details of our lives to repurpose, not for our ordinary imaginations, but for his extraordinary purposes? I'd like for us to think about that this week. What is Christ doing to redeem the ordinary in our lives for extraordinary, unimaginable purposes?